For months, rumors about Max Verstappen's retirement have been swirling across the racing world.
There is a genuine possibility that Max Verstappen retires from Formula One at the end of this year.
But Verstappen just added fuel to the fire with a post on social media. And it looks like this isn't just a rumor anymore. Let me break it down. The post that started it. On 14 August 2026, Verstappen published a post from his primary X account. The text read, "For my last home race, dank Joel Zandvoort," with a link to scale models on his website. 4 photographs came with it. The helmet uses a white shell with dark blue decoration, floral patterns taken from traditional Dutch Delftware ceramics. His lion emblem sits on the crown in dark blue, surrounded by the same motifs. Oracle and Red Bull branding stays on the front around the dark blue visor. Sponsor logos occupy the lower shell, a translucent blue chin spoiler and clear crown vents complete it. The same design went out through his commercial account and through Oracle Red Bull Racing. One caption called it a homage to the Netherlands and Zandvoort and referred to memories that last a lifetime. Scale model replicas went on sale on his official website the same day. This is a routine he has run before. Verstappen has used special or themed helmets for his home races for years, including designs built around the Dutch national colors and the lion motif. In an earlier Zandvoort helmet reveal, he opened it the same way he always does.
Hi everyone. Yeah, it's another special helmet reveal time.
That one was built around a helmet belonging to his father, sitting on the table beside him while he filmed. He called the design emotional and traced it back to the photographs from his first years in go-karting, when he wore that livery before he wore anything of his own.
As you can see here, I have one of my dad's old helmets next to me. And of course, the Dutch Grand Prix is coming up.
He tied that design to the livery he carried in go-karting and said who he was making it for.
I hope a lot of Dutchies and also fans of my dad back in the day will appreciate this helmet.
And it ended the way these launches always end, with the merchandise.
And of course with that we have the mini helmets available as well.
So the structure of the 2026 post was familiar: a helmet, a tribute to the Netherlands, a product link. What changed was one word in the caption. The post arrived 1 week before the Dutch Grand Prix weekend of 21 to 23 August. Within hours it passed 90,000 likes and several million views, with the commercial account and the team account carrying it further. The helmet is scheduled to be worn across the Zandvoort sessions. None of that was unusual. What people locked onto had nothing to do with the paint, and that is where the wording matters. Last home race does not describe Verstappen leaving Formula One. It describes Zandvoort leaving the Formula One calendar. The 2026 event is the last one currently planned at the venue, which makes it his last home race, whether he keeps racing or not. But the post did not land in a quiet season. It landed after months of Verstappen talking about how long he wants to keep doing this, and the reaction reflected that. Paddock Media had already been treating his exit as live.
There is a genuine possibility that Max Verstappen retires from Formula One at the end of this year.
To understand why one caption set that off, you have to start with why Zandvoort is ending at all. Why the home race is disappearing. Circuit Zandvoort is not being dropped. It is walking away, and it is walking away for reasons that have nothing to do with Max Verstappen's mood. The promoter of the Dutch Grand Prix chose not to renew or extend its commercial agreement with Formula One management beyond 2026. The original multi-year deal that dragged the race back onto the calendar in 2021 had been written to expire after 2025. A 1-year extension was agreed to secure the 2026 running, and once that was signed, the promoter confirmed there would be nothing after it. Formula One pushed back with alternatives, including folding Zandvoort into a rotational arrangement with other European circuits, so the race could survive every second or third year. Those options were turned down. Demand was never the weakness. Saturday and Sunday for the farewell sold out well before the weekend arrived, which is exactly the promoter's argument in miniature. The race works while it is full, and the danger sits in the seasons when it might not be. The reasoning was cold arithmetic rather than sentiment. Unlike the majority of races on the calendar, the Dutch Grand Prix receives no direct government subsidy and is organized as a privately funded event. The organizers have said repeatedly that the weekend only works financially when all 3 days sell out. Not most of it, all of it. Stack rising operational costs on top of that, add changes to Dutch VAT rules on event tickets, and then factor in the question nobody could answer with certainty: would the grandstands still be full in 2029, in 2031, in a post-Verstappen Netherlands? The internal risk analysis said stop. Dutch Grand Prix director Robert van Overdijk framed the decision as choosing to go out on a high while the event is still adored and still packed, rather than grinding forward into a decade of thinning margins. Formula One president and CEO Stefano Domenicali publicly respected the promoter's position, noting that several options had been explored and that the Dutch organizers had delivered a consistently high-quality event since the race returned. The cost pressure is not abstract for the people in the stands either. Fans traveling to the finale noticed the sharp end of it immediately.
I just know that my tickets were 300 euros more expensive.
That price jump is tied to the format. The farewell has been staged as a sprint weekend, which loads the Saturday and inflates the value of the whole ticket. And even the skeptics admit there is something to being there for it.
No, but having said that, I'm going to Zandvoort next weekend. And I'm kind of glad that it's a sprint weekend.
After that Sunday, the dunes go quiet. No replacement Dutch venue has been secured, and the TT Circuit Assen later confirmed it would not pursue the substantial investment required for a Grade 1 license to host Formula One in the near term. There is no successor waiting in the wings, no rescue package, no rotation slot held open, and nothing confirmed to take the date once it is gone. The 2026 race therefore stands as the sixth and final edition of the modern series, a 6-year run from 2021 to 2026 that ends with the most successful Dutch driver in history parking in front of an orange wall for the last time. So the helmet is a goodbye. The question is whether it is only a goodbye to a racetrack, and that depends on the cars. The cars he calls anti-driving. The 2026 technical regulations rewired the sport from the inside out. The 1.6-litre turbocharged V6 survived, but the balance of power inside it was torn apart and rebuilt. The internal combustion engine was throttled to roughly 400 kW, about 536 horsepower, achieved by slashing the maximum fuel energy flow to 3,000 megajoules per hour, roughly 70 kilograms of fuel an hour, down from 100. In exchange, the MG UK was almost tripled, jumping from 120 kW to 350 kW. The MG-UH, expensive and fiendishly complex, was deleted entirely. The result is a car that is roughly half combustion, half electricity, closer to 53 to 47 in practice, with total output still north of 750 kW, comfortably over 1,000 horsepower. The MG-UK can harvest up to 9 megajoules per lap, and the swing between maximum and minimum state of charge is capped at 4 megajoules on track. Full deployment is only permitted below roughly 290 kilometers per hour. Above that, a ramp-down function bleeds the power away until there is nothing left to give. The squeeze bites hardest in qualifying, where a flying lap is rationed rather than attacked, and the driver spends it recovering charge instead of hunting the limit. In a driver's hands, that means lifting, coasting, feathering the throttle to feed the battery, then finding no punch left when you need it. Verstappen saw it coming. A quote of his from July 2023, read back on a Paddock podcast, has aged into prophecy.
And he said, I've been talking about it with the team as well, and I've seen the data already in the simulator.
He was describing simulator laps of a car that did not exist yet, and the detail he fixated on was the one that now defines qualifying.
400 or 500 meters before the end of the straight, you have to downshift because it's faster. I think that's not the way to go.
By 2026, he had a phrase for it. After the Japanese Grand Prix in late March, he said he could accept running 7th or 8th, that he had been realistic about form his whole career, and then delivered the line that detonated, "It's really anti-driving." Then at one point, yeah, it's just not what I want to do. This was not sour grapes. He had used anti-racing in pre-season testing at Bahrain before a single point was scored, and he repeated the complaint after his first podium of the year in Canada. The panel that covers him full-time did not miss the pattern.
Max Verstappen has been a day one hater of these regulations.
He compared the racing to Formula E on steroids and to playing Mario Kart, boost, coast, repeat, with overtakes manufactured by energy tables rather than earned by bravery. Even in pre-season, before he had turned a competitive lap, he knew the field would be alien.
For sure it will be quite different to drive.
Relief is coming. From 2027, the ICE rises to 420 kW and the MG UK drops to 300 kW for a 58 to 42 split. And in 2028, the ICE climbs to 450 kW for the target 60 to 40. Maximum harvesting power steps up alongside it to 375 kW and then 400 kW, while the 350 kW overtake mode survives untouched. The problem is that Verstappen must endure 2 more seasons of a formula he despises before it improves, and his contract runs out at exactly the wrong moment. The contract, the clauses, and the season. Nothing sharpens a retirement conversation like a season that refuses to reward you. Through the Hungarian Grand Prix on 26 July 2026, Verstappen sat 6th in the Drivers' Championship on 109 points, 4 podiums, no wins. 3rd in Canada, 2nd in Austria, 3rd in Belgium, 2nd in Hungary, 6th in Australia from 20th on the grid, 5th in Miami, 4th in Barcelona, 8th in Japan, and 3 afternoons that ended in the garage. China, Monaco, Great Britain. Above him, the order was brutal. Kimi Antonelli led on 219, Lewis Hamilton had 169, George Russell 160, Charles Leclerc 138, and Lando Norris 128. Verstappen was 110 points off the lead. Red Bull sat 4th in the Constructors' Championship on 177 points. His 109 plus Isaac Hadjar's 68, trailing Mercedes by 202, Ferrari by 130, and McLaren by 43. For a team that spent the previous era winning titles, 4th is not a dip, it is a demotion. His contract is not the problem. The 5-year extension signed in early 2022 runs to the end of 2028, by which point he will be 31, on a base salary widely reported at €65 to 70 million a year. At signing, he called it an easy decision, and Christian Horner called it a real statement of intent. The complication is what sits underneath the headline. The agreement has been widely reported to contain performance-related exit clauses tied to championship position at defined points in 2026 or 2027. 6th place in August is exactly the scenario those clauses were drafted for. Nothing has been triggered publicly. He has also refused to discuss anything beyond 2028 until he settles whether he wants to race at all. But the calendar is doing its own quiet work.
Yeah, well, it all depends on how the next couple of races go.
That is a Dutch journalist who covers Red Bull for a living, and his read on the timing is specific.
I think he has to let Red Bull know before October, so September might be a very important month.
His read on Verstappen's own preference, however, is the opposite of panic.
His intention is to stay, I think. You know, that's the promise he made.
That promise is older than any clause. In an interview with The Times in March 2026, Verstappen described telling the late Red Bull co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz that his dream was to stay with the team for as long as his career lasted, and that he said it before Mateschitz died. He has since framed loyalty and being allowed to be himself inside a team as worth as much to him as raw performance. He has also closed the emergency exit that everyone assumed he would use. Asked by De Telegraaf in June 2026 whether he might take a year or 2 away while the sport fixed its rules, he answered, "No, not a sabbatical. I'm not that sort of person. If I stop, I'll stop completely. There is no half measure on the table. And if the car stays where it is, the people closest to the story are not confident which way it breaks."
Oh man, now the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't know if Max will stay.
That doubt is not about money or machinery. It exists because of what sits on the other side of the decision. A second career he has spent 2 years assembling in plain sight. What he already has waiting retirement is credible rather than theatrical, because Verstappen has already built the thing he would retire into. In September 2025, he made his competitive debut on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, taking a Grade A license in a detuned Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 before stepping into a Ferrari 296 GT3 run by Emile Frey Racing alongside Chris Lulam. They won the 4-hour race by more than 20 seconds. It was his first GT3 victory, and the first time a reigning Formula One world champion had raced another series while still active in F1 since Keke Rosberg in 1983. He escalated fast. The 2026 Nürburgring 24 Hours, slotted into mid-May between Miami and Canada, saw him enter a Mercedes-AMG GT3 under his own Verstappen racing banner with Winward Racing, alongside Danny Juncadella, Jules Gounon, and Lucas Auer. The car led through the night and held more than 30 seconds with under 4 hours left until a driveshaft failure dragged it into the garage and handed the win to the sister Mercedes, AMG of Maro Engel, Lucas Stoltz, Fabian Schiller, and Maxime Martin. He classified and lost. The team behind it is not a hobby. Founded as Verstappen.com Racing, it won the Gold Cup class title at the 24 Hours of Spa in 2025, rebranded as Verstappen Racing for 2026, switched to Mercedes AMG GT3 machinery on a multi-year agreement, and graduated to the pro category of GT World Challenge Europe. He mapped that promotion out himself at the end of 2025.
And then next year, of course, yeah, we want to be in the Pro Championship, basically.
The list of races he still wants is long: Le Mans, Spa, Daytona, more Nordschleife. Ford, his Red Bull power unit partner, confirmed talks with him about a future Le Mans appearance alongside a WEC hypercar program from 2027.
Is Le Mans on the list of things that you want to do?
Yeah, for sure.
Then there is the part no contract competes with. His daughter, Lily, was born in May 2025, and since then he has said he is missing too much of ordinary family life. He has already drawn on the outer boundary of his career.
At the end of the day, I mean, you do that to what, maybe 40?
And he has explained why chasing statistics past that point holds no interest for him at all.
Like, when I'm gonna be 50 years old, 60 years old, do you think I care if I've won 4 or 7?
He has said he does not want to spend 25 years of his life racing a car when there is one waiting outside it. That is not a man negotiating. On the Up to Speed podcast, he said he is definitely closer to the end, that the current regulations are not helping the longevity of his career, and that he could leave it behind easily because he has a lot of other projects. That is the whole shape of it. The announcement itself was paint and a caption. The question underneath it is on record, it has a deadline, and it reduces to one thing.
If you're there for one thing and that one thing isn't delivering for you, then why would you stay?
So the helmet closes a circuit, not a career. The career question stays open. It runs on Red Bull's September deadline, and Zandvoort on 23 August is the first place he has to face it in public. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.